Hey guys, welcome back to Linda's Resin Room. So today what I thought we could do is do some blooms in this mold because I've been wanting to try this mold out. And what better time than today? It just seems like that's crooked. Some of these molds just seem like they're higher up in the center and out lower on the edge, or vice versa. Oh well, we'll see when I do the bloom. So I have mixed up 3.5 ounces of resin, and this is the craft resin, part A, part B. It's a low viscosity resin, so it says, but to me it feels like a thicker resin. So I just thought we would try that today and see how it does on a bloom. Now, I've been letting my resin sit. It's been sitting maybe 10 minutes, and it is 34.7 degrees. So let's measure out 20 gram here. This is going to be for a white. There, 20 gram. All right, now let's see what we got left here. 3 ounce. So 1.5 ounce for each one. All right. Now, does anybody see what I mean when I say these molds don't seem equal? Or is it just my OCD coming out? Because that one just looks fuller than this one. And one side looks higher than the other. So, oh well. I'm just going to have to learn to deal with it and move on. Just in case it's not mixed up good, where I did scrape all those sides. Okay. Put my cup over there to drain. And let me clean this stick off. I think I just slung some resin somewhere. All right. 20 gram, 2 drops of our bloom paste. Shake it down. 1. So you're going to drop 2. Clean the top of that off a little bit. All right. I don't want a big stick. I'm looking for a smaller stick. Okay. Well, I guess I could drop my inks first. I'm going to use Deco Rom Fuchsia. Probably should get rid of a few of them little bubbles. Don't go too close to the edge. You don't want to burn the mold. Okay, let's give that a second, since I just threw that heat gun to it. You want your white to look like skim milk. And this definitely looks like skim milk. You can see how you can see through that stick. I got quite a bit of white still on the stick. Need to get off. I need that to mix in. Okay. drop some inks and then we'll finish that. All right, let's do 1, 2 drops of fuchsia in the center. 1, 2. Nose is itching. Let's go around with lavender. It's kind of spitting a little bit, isn't he? I thought these would be kind of Eastery colors. And then peach. Let's do peach in between the purple. And these little things are really spitting today. And that's all we're going to do for color. Okay. Decant your resin when it's between 33 and 36 degrees Celsius. And your blooms will do much better. Use a white pigment paste for the bloom itself. Where's there color on the bottom of that cup? Where'd that come from? It didn't mix in. You want to mix it to look like skim milk. You can see through the stick of that, and you can see it looks just like skim milk. If you make it too heavy, it will sink and you'll have blobs. Make it too light, and it kind of looks a little wispy, and this might be a little light, but you can see. Very opaque, or very translucent. And that's all we need. Get me a paper towel here to clean that stick off, because I do like to reuse my sticks. I like them once they're coated in resin. Get me a paper towel to wrap around my cup. You do want to give your inks a few minutes to spread because of got a hole. I'm just going to try to cover those holes up with some ink. And that could be where I use the heat gun. But you want your inks to spread. They do move, and you don't want to drop your white when the inks are still moving, because it will mess your bloom up. Okay, now you can add a center to these if you like. I'm not going to. I'm just going to swirl mine. I'm going to take my little torch, pop a few little bubbles there. All right. I like to pinch my cup and then just place a paper towel right up next to that rim. Leave enough opening for my white to come out. I always start in the center, but you don't have to. You can start around the edge. And I just dropped a whole big blob of white in that center. And I'm just going to go around in a circle here. And that's all I'm going to do to that one. And I'll have to fix that big blobby, or it will sink to the bottom. Now let's see if we can get this one to look better. Just take your time, don't rush it. I just like to swirl mine around a little bit so I can have some little thin, wispy blooms through there. Alright, I do still have a little white left. Anywhere that white dropped, like here, you want to pull that out, otherwise it will blob. And just like this center, that will definitely blob if I were to just leave that alone. Okay, and that's it to do that. Now you can pull your petals any way you want. I'm just going to do a typical, and you can clean your stick after each one, but I don't care if mine is mixed colors, because I think it's pretty when it does that. And then when I pull out, I don't go all the way to the bottom because those are going to blob probably already, maybe, because they're so small. You need them to be side to bloom because blooms work from the outside in. And these little tiny ones in there, which I'm going to swirl, will blob if you leave them too small. Same way this, same pattern, in and in, and you can see it's already blooming. I did wait a little long on my resin just because I wasn't paying attention. My fault. And then just pull out. And this is just a typical bloom pattern. Don't go all the way to the bottom of the mold. I'll start in the center and swirl out, and I swirl in. Don't go to the bottom of the mold, or you can scratch your mold, and you don't want to do that. Alright, you're just pulling through the colors, all you're doing. That's it, guys. We'll leave these alone, decide what color we want to back these in. I don't use black when I use pinks and purples because they have a tendency to turn muddy. They're very, very muddy. I might use a glitter. We'll see. Glitter would be pretty. But anyways, that's it for our bloom. So we'll let these do their thing and come back when it's time to do a backing. I'll see you guys then. Hey guys, so these are cured. So we're going to put a backing on it. They look like they've bloomed very wispy, which I knew they would because they could have used just a little more white. But I have mixed up 2 ounces of resin. I'm using the Let's Resin Part A, Part B 1-to-1 Fast Cure resin because I'm hoping these will be ready by this afternoon. Just going to do a glitter background. I got this glitter from Hobby Lobby. It was on clearance. It's called Mermaid Party, and it's a large glitter. It's got some blues and purples and silvers and pinks in there, and I thought that would look really pretty. So I'm going to put a bunch of that down in there. And then I'm going to add a little bit of this. It's a, I got this from Temu. It's a holographic white powder, but it's got some pinks, some purples, and greens in it as well. And I thought it would match really well. So I'm just going to put a little of this in there too. I think those two together are going to look really pretty. Okay. Just mix it up. I'm not worried about bubbles because they're it's glitter. You're not going to see them. Okay. And I've only mixed up 2 ounces. So I'm going to try to do half in this one and half in the other. And I'm not filling these all the way up. I just want a little backing on them. I'm only doing one at a time because of, even though I know this is completely set, you can still cause a line if the resin isn't set. And I don't want that. It'll indent down into the resin. So I want to spread this pretty quick. And I'm not filling the mold all the way up. I just want it, like I said, a little backing on there. And that was 1 ounce. Do the same with this one. This one seems like is more full than the other. So I think it's going to need just a little bit more to cover this whole thing. I'm just spreading it out. It self-levels very well. I really like this resin. I like all of the Lindasresin resins. Okay. Just going to finish scraping the cup, get out what I can. So I don't like leaving all that glitter in there, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. Okay. Now you can let this set for just a minute and then use the torch, wipe that off, get all that glitter off of there. And you can use the torch and just go around. Just don't go too close to the edge. Don't stay in there too long because you don't want to mess up the glitter either. Alright guys, that's it. We'll let that cure up and come back for a demold. Hey guys, welcome back. It's been 5 hours, so I think I should be able to demold these because Fast Cure says demold 4 to 8 hours. I'm just going to be very careful with them because they are still a little soft around the edges. Like I said, they're not completely cured, but they are cured enough to demold. You can see where I squished that part up. Alright, let's see what these look like. Oh, that's pretty. And this one is definitely thicker than the other. But those are really pretty blooms. I like that mold. You can't really tell the edge detail with the glitter, but they're really pretty. Alright guys, I'll see you back for the next video.